probably think that piñatas originated in Mexico. Well, actually, after doing my research and searching on Mexnet.com, the history of piñatas, I have realized that Marco Polo actually came across that in China, they hung pot-like figures and they were decorated. And then he noticed that inside they had seeds that when they swung sticks at them, the seeds busted. And they usually did this around New Year's. And after they busted the seeds, they gathered up the seeds and then burned them, kept their ashes, and kept them throughout the whole year, which was supposed to bring good luck. Well, it eventually spread to Spain, and then it came over to the U.S. And according to Mexnet.com, once again, the Italian word piñata means fragile pot. And this can be made in 5 simple steps. So come with me and create our simple, fun piñata. Okay, now what you're going to need is we have 2 cups of flour, 3 cups of water. We have, of course, balloons, which you can buy anywhere, Walmart, any kind of party place. Crepe paper or streamers. And then we have string or yarn, whichever you prefer. And then, of course, you have 1-inch thick strips of newspaper, which this is going to create the newspaper dipped in the flour and the water. This is going to create what they call paper mache. And also we have the glue and the candy, which we'll use at the very end. Okay, now first what you want to do is dump the flour into the water. And I don't know why, but I've always liked to use my hands with stuff. So, therefore, they're going to get dirty anyways. Might as well start now. So you just want to mix it all together. You don't want it to be too thick. That's why you add 1 more cup of water instead of 1 more cup of flour. You just make sure you go through your fingers and everything. Make sure you get the flour all mixed in, because this right here is going to create the paste that you dip the newspaper in and place it onto the balloon. So I've already done this one pretty much most of the way. And what I did was you just take a strip of newspaper. They say about 1 inch thick according to eHow.com, but I like to use just a little bit bigger, like these sizes, maybe about 2 inches. It just takes less time. And they say dip it in there, but I've found from my personal experience that if you just drip a little bit onto it, and I like to roll it up to make sure it gets all over there. And you just want to place it onto the balloon and just make sure that it sticks. And sometimes I do several at a time. That way, like I said, it takes less time. You just place it all around. And also, according to eHow, you want to leave about this much at the top open, because once this dries, like this first layer I did was already dry, but once it dries, you want to add another layer, let that layer dry, and then add a 3rd layer and let that layer dry. It doesn't take much newspaper either. All you have to do is maybe just maybe a whole stack, just what you go by, like the Daily Journal or something like that. It doesn't take much at all, unless you need to put some down to clean up your mess. Okay, maybe about 1 more strip, a bigger strip. Wait, it'll take up most of the room. You want to make sure you get the whole thing wet too. Make sure you get all the flour and everything all over it, that way it'll stay. You want to place this on here, and the reason they say leave the space open at the top is because when this dries, you just pop the balloon. And this right here, this will be your basin, and this will be your figure, actually, what's going to hold it together. Now, I have already done one, but it's not quite finished yet. It was supposed to be a heart. It doesn't look much like a heart. But then you want to take the crepe paper, and I've already cut up some strips. You don't need them very long. You just need to like hold up and measure exactly how long you think you might need them. If I were you, I would start out just with simple things. Like when I first did this with my Spanish class, I started out with just 2 small balloons put together. But once you've kind of mastered how to do it with simple things, then you can move on to shapes and creations. Okay. Now what you're going to do is, I like to take my glue, and however big the space is, just take a little bit and rub it on there. It was dried, I'm sorry, it wouldn't come out. Okay. Alright, and just take the strips and place them on the piñata. The crepe paper is what gives it kind of a classy look, and this is also the traditional way they did it too. And this doesn't usually take very long. It's just, you have to have patience with it because you have to let it dry overnight. But then, where I had left the hole right here, you want to take some candy. I just took a few random things from our house. You don't really have to go out and buy anything if you just got some random stuff laying around. Put it in there. Okay. Now what I did, the same tool that I used to pop my balloon with, I just went along the sides, poked a hole on each side. That way it gives a little bit more stability. And ran some yarn through it. And then you hang it. But now make sure if you hang it, or when you hang it, that it's big enough for adults and children reach. You don't want to have it too high, but you don't want to have it too low either. Okay. Now that you have seen how to make this Chinese Good Luck Custom, if you ever want to make your own piñata, remember it's just a few easy steps. All you have to do is gather the proper materials, blow up your balloon, paste the newspaper on it, let it dry, decorate, and fill with candy, and then hang. Next time the new year rolls around, I hope you think about this tradition and how it has traveled all over the world, and I hope it is an inspiration to you to create your own piñata, whether that's for fun or for tradition.